her confidence level is what we all should all strive to have, because yes, I love seeing a main character who knows that she's the baddest. Like, yes, we need more of this. Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a happy video, a positive video. Today I'm filming my best books of 2020 video. So these are the books I loved in 2020. I rated a lot of books of 5 stars in 2020, but these are the best of the best. These are the elite 5 stars. So today I have for you my top 15 books of 2020. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. So let's just get this out the way. The book that is not a shock to you guys that made it on this list, the book that I cannot stop talking about, the book that if I had to pick one book and one book only to say this is my favorite book of 2020, I would pick this one. So let's start off with the bang with Cinderellas Dead by Kailyn Barron. I talk about this book non-stop, so you guys are gonna have to hear me talk about it once again. I absolutely devoured this book. Like, I can't say more. I devoured this book. I loved every bit of it. Literally, when I needed just a drop of serotonin during finals week, I read this book. That's how much it makes me happy. That's how much I love it. This is the only book I read twice in 2020. This book is about a girl named Sophia, and she teams up with the descendants of Cinderella to take down the patriarchy. This book takes place 200 years after Cinderella's dead, and they live in a society where girls still go to the ball, and at the ball the men get to choose their wives and the women have no say in it. I feel like the reason I love this book so much is because it's so fun. I know. This book just felt so quick and so easy and so fun. Like, I had such a good time reading this. But the entire book I was entertained. No part of this book bored me. No part of this book made me want to fall asleep. I read this book from start to finish in one sitting. And then to even add on to the stunningness and the amazingness of this book, it has a gorgeous cover. I cannot hype this book enough. I don't know what more you guys want from me to make you guys want to read this book, because I talk about this book in literally every video, except obviously my worst books of 2020 video. For fairy tale retelling, I feel like the author was very creative. I really loved where she went with the Cinderella story, and that she did what needed to be done and more. This was my most anticipated release of 2020, and it exceeded all of my expectations. I literally love this book so much. The next book on this list is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. Another one of my most anticipated releases of 2020, and it delivered. This book was stunning. Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which is the first book in this like romance series, was good, but Take a Hint, Danny Brown was great. More than great, actually. The main character was hilarious. I loved her. She was so confident, and sometimes you just want a confident woman who knows her worth and knows what she brings to the table. I love that. I love that about Danny. Like, her confidence level is what we all should all strive to have, because yes, I love seeing a main character who knows that she's the baddest. Like, yes, we need more of this. The love interest of Zaf. Who told this man he can be this perfect? Forget all the other love interests you've seen in other romance books. Zaf is the one for you. He's the sweetest person ever, and just like, I loved everything about him, like, and them together, the chemistry, and also the fake dating goodness we got from this book. Like, Talia Hibbert did not come to play with this book at all. She knew what she was doing, putting these two fabulously done main characters together in one book. Both these characters were amazing, and then them together, amazing. Next on this list, I have Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. This is a young adult fantasy starring a black main character. She's 16, her name's Bree, and she's in this early college program, meaning she's on a college campus taking college classes, but she's still in high school. But yeah, I love the setting of a college campus for a fantasy novel. I've never seen that done before, so kudos to Tracy. And the way this author wove in slavery, Black ancestry, and the importance and the difference with the magical powers of Black people and the magical powers of their white counterparts. So stunningly done. Wow. Just wow. I really love how the author dove into these topics. But this book, again, checked all my boxes and then more some. Like, wow. And then there's a love triangle in this book, and usually I'm like the first person to be like, I hate love triangles, and stop. But I hate to say it, or I guess I love to say it, I kind of was eating this love triangle up. Like, I kind of really enjoyed it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And then there's a plot twist at the end of this book. I don't want to spoil you guys at all, but when I tell you, it left me speechless. Speechless. I had no words. I was just like, where's the next book? That was the only thing I could say. Where is the next book? Because I need it now. Like, Tracy Deonn played me like a fiddle, because wow. Next we have our first thriller on the list actually, and that is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This thriller took me on such a wild ride. Holy crap. With a lot of thrillers, there's not usually like a fast-paced boom, 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 boom. I feel like with a lot of thriller books, there's a lot of build-up and then boom. With this book, it was just boom at the start. I have to give props where props are due because Taylor Adams did what he needed to do with this. It was never-ending craziness. Craziness. I can't with this book. In this book, we have our main character, Darby, and Darby is on the way to see her mother in the hospital, I believe, and while driving up to the hospital, a snowstorm happens and she's stuck in this kind of like rest stop. And in this rest stop, she sees in a car a little girl in a cage, and she realizes that one of the people in the rest stop has this car, so one of the people in the rest stop kidnapped this kid. This book was just, amazing. The main character, Darby, let me tell you, I was rooting for this girl all the way. I feel like Taylor Adams did both with this book. He fleshed out a beautiful main character that you could really root for and really cared about by the end of this novel, but he also made a stunning plot with so many twists and turns that barely left you any breath to breathe or to rest, because each second of this book, something crazy happens. Like non-stop insanity. Insanity. There's not one plot twist that didn't shock me. Like, every turn, every obstacle that the main character had to go through, I was just like, craziness. To all the people who recommended this book on their best thriller list or thriller book recommendations, thank you, because one of the best thrillers I've read, not just this year, but like of all time. The next book on this list, I have no idea why I waited for so long to read this book. I love young adult contemporaries, and this author is like the queen of young adult contemporaries, and I waited so long to read this book, but I finally did, and I absolutely loved it. And that is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicole Yoon. I absolutely love this book. The chemistry and the instant connection between these characters felt so real and so natural. The romance didn't feel rushed at all, and that's saying something for a book that revolves around insta-love. This book takes place in one day. It takes place with a girl named Natasha, who by the end of the day, she can't find a solution. Her family and her will be deported back to Jamaica, and then we have Daniel, who meets her and falls in love with her in that day. Yeah, I really am surprised I loved this book as much as I did, because the only reason I did not read this book, even though it became popular the instant she published it, and then it became more popular when the movie came out, and I still did not pick it up, and that is because it has insta-love in it, but I still absolutely loved it, and I still absolutely loved the romance in this book. I know, it was a surprise to me too, but the romance felt so easy, and the connection just felt perfect. Like, I really love these two people together. And then we have the cry-worthy ending that this book has that made the tears start coming. Nicole Yoon just takes you on such a ride with these two, but again, it didn't feel unnatural. It felt like these two people were meant to meet in this day and meant to fall in love, like it was fate. That says a lot when your romance that is fleshed out in one day feels perfect. That is saying so much, and I give so much props to Nicole Yoon for making one of my worst tropes into one of my best books of 2020. Insanity! I know. I guess the lesson we learned here today is don't judge a book by its trope. But I did judge this book by its cover because this cover is absolutely beautiful. And I'm so happy that the book matched that. The next book I have is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This book is a book that I think took Twitter, BookTube, and everyone else by storm. I have not come across someone who hated this book. I feel like everyone who reads this book cries. Everyone who reads this book loves it. It's just amazing. I follow this author on Twitter, and he is just the sweetest person ever. He just seems like such a good person. So I really would have hated it if I hated this book, but I didn't. I love this book. We have Yadril, who is actually a trans boy. In his family and his culture, they basically hunt ghosts. They're like the ghost keepers. And in his magic system and his culture, is really based off gender. If you're a male in the magic system, you do this. If you're a female in the magic system, you do this. And he's trans, so he's trying to really make his family and everyone around him believe that he can do what all the other man in his culture and his magic system does. There's this whole mystery happening. He uses this mystery to prove himself to his family, and then he meets this ghost Julian who kind of helps him, and they kind of fall in love. These two cinnamon rolls falling in love was just so sweet to read, and I feel like this book is so character driven, and I mean that in a good way, meaning like these characters really make the story. Not one character is the same as the other. All these characters are dynamic and have different personalities, and you love each and every one of them for what they bring to the book. It's so sweet, such an important story. Julian and Yadril are just so cute together. I literally cried so much during this book. It just hit me in the heart. It really made me feel something. Why am I tearing up right now? Let me calm down. This book was just, everything. It just felt like this was the author's story to tell, and he told it so well. I'm so happy for him. The next book I have is another thriller, and that is The One by John Mars. Everyone on BookTube was hyping up John Mars. I heard his name in a lot of thriller book recommendations, so I was like, I finally checked his book out, and when I tell you, I was in no way disappointed. Wow. His books are very Black Mirror-esque. I'm pretty sure Netflix is picking up this book, and I can't wait to see what they do with this story, because this in a movie form or TV show format would be absolutely crazy to watch, and I'm so excited. This book is about a dating app who takes the user's DNA to basically match them up with their perfect match using just their DNA. It takes place with multiple characters, and one of these characters is a serial killer, and they get matched up with another person. When I talk about a fast-paced thriller, this is the standard. This is the standard that everyone needs to meet, because wow. The short chapters made it better, of course, but I feel like it was John Mars's storytelling and writing that really, really hit the mark and made this book so easy to read and such a fast-paced read. It felt like I was watching a TV show. If the book felt like a movie in itself, imagine watching this on the big screen. Like, I can't wait. Every chapter in this book has a twist, has a turn. There is no stopping this book. There are so many plot lines in this book and so many plot twists. I really love when a thriller author is able to make not just one big plot twist or a big reveal, but multiple throughout the story. So I love it so much. I feel like John Mars does it so well because I read his other book and I also loved it. This book was wow. And I can't wait to read more of his book. Next I have The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is a really hyped up romance on BookTube. I get it now. This is some hate to love goodness. The two love interests in this book met at their sister's wedding and their brother's wedding. Their siblings are getting married. They meet at their wedding. That sounds so confusing. Sorry. Everyone at the wedding gets food poisoning except those two who hate each other. And they get to go on a honeymoon together, but the only thing is that they kind of hate each other. They're forced to go on a honeymoon together and act like they're in love, even though, again, they hate each other. I love this book so much. Christina Lauren really fed me because I love some good enemies to lovers, realness, and this gave it to me. Yeah, the main character had a personality. She had banter. She was funny. I really liked her. Sometimes main characters in romance novels are bland. They're not really giving me anything, but I still kind of eat it up because I love the romance. But like them by themselves are not really entertaining. But no, I really love the main character Olive in this book. A rom-com in a book. It's so cute and so funny, literally hilarious. Banter and the chemistry and the tension between these two characters, like, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. They just bounce off one another so well, and I really, really love them together. Next book is very popular, and I'm so happy to say I love it like the rest of you do, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I absolutely love this book. This book was heartbreaking. So heartbreaking because it felt so real. It's so sad to say that this felt so real and felt like it could happen in real life because of the matters that take place in this book. This book is about a girl named Star who kind of becomes a part of this big protest because one of her childhood friends gets shot by the police and she has to become a witness because it happened when she was in the car with it. She becomes the star witness. I know, funny. Star witness, I know. I'm hilarious, I know. Angie Thomas, I talked about this in my reading year in review video. She has become my new favorite author. This book is just wow. I feel like everyone needs to read this book that is so important, especially now. It's been important because of police brutality and Black Lives Matter. By the end of this book, I was sobbing my eyes out. I know I cry with a lot of books. A lot of books make me cry. But no, this book had me in tears like someone died or something. Like I was crying that much. Like it hit me hard. It hit me so hard. This book broke me. This broke me so much. Like I knew it would be sad because like I knew what this book was going to be about. But like, dang, Angie, let me live. Let me breathe a little bit first, okay? But this is one of the books that I will always recommend. I will always tell everyone to read because it's just that good and just that important. Next we have another hyped up book that I absolutely love. That is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. I've seen this again in everyone's best books list and everyone's thriller book recommendations. And the plot of this book was so crazy and just so amazing. I really wanted to see how the author executed it. I read it and I loved it. Another Black Mirror-esque plot is about time travel and the illusion of time. And this guy kind of makes a time machine, but it gets in the wrong hands. And he meets his past self. And like, it's a lot. It's like Back to the Future gone wrong. It's really a lot. It's so confusing. I can barely explain. Blake Crouch makes you so confused, but intentionally he wants you to be confused. He wants you to have no idea what's going on until the very end or until he wants you to. And yeah, I was confused during this book, but I was enjoying it. I was enjoying myself. I never experienced that and it was so much fun. I love how Blake Crouch really emphasized that one choice, one decision can really change everything around you more than you could expect. I really love the emphasis on that. Blake Crouch really hits hard. In his other book he wrote, he also deals with the illusion of time, and I feel like he does it really well. Get into it because it's so amazingly done. Like, wow. Next we have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. This is another romance read and another hate to love story, but with a twist, because this book takes the engaged couple actually, but it turns out they kind of hate each other now. But none of them in the relationship wants to end it because they have to pay the bills of the stuff they already booked for their wedding. So they kind of just want to make the other person hate them even more, so they're the one that breaks off the engagement. This book was so petty, but in a good way. Like the pettiness, the banter between these two people, because they just kept on going and kept on wanting to make the other person break before they. It was so funny, but this book was comedy, pure comedy. And then like the realization that like, oh, maybe I don't hate this person after all, and them kind of rebuilding their relationship and starting to love each other again. It was just so wholesome to watch, and I really love them getting back together. Sarah Hogel makes the awkwardness of them living together, being engaged, and hating each other, but them also realizing that they love each other. It was very smoothly done, and you almost don't realize how much they hate each other because the way they love each other by the end of this book was so cute. You end up hating the main love interest because the main character hates him, and you're like, I hate him too, you know. Then you end up seeing the good qualities of him and the good in him, and you're like, oh, now I see why he's such a good love interest now. Sarah Hogan really does her thing and really makes it what it is, and I really loved it. Next book is another young adult contemporary greatness, and that is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. Another author doing what needed to be done. This book was so cute. This book is about a main character who runs for prom queen, not because she actually wants to win prom queen or she has been dreaming of this her whole life, her whole high school years. It's because there's a scholarship with it and she needs the money. She runs for prom queen and she falls in love during this. This book is sapphic. I can't help but just like smile and just like gush about this book because it was so cute. It was so wholesome. Like, main character was just like, you can't help but root for her. You're a monster if you didn't like this main character. Because I feel like she was like one of my like best friends. Like, I just wanted her to succeed and I wanted her to win. I wanted her to get scholarship. I wanted her to win prom queen. I wanted her to find love. I wanted her to be happy. And this book made me happy. Like, it was cute. It was sweet. I just wanted to hug this main character so many times throughout the book. Leah Johnson knows how to make a main character because, yeah, I really love this main character so much. Like, one of my favorite main characters in a young adult contemporary because those girls can be annoying sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But I love this main character so much. Next we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I know. I finally bought this book. I talked about this book in a lot of videos and I finally bought it because I knew the third book in the series is coming out this year and I knew I wanted to read the whole series again this year because that's how much I loved it. I was debating whether or not I should put this book or The Bride Test in this list. I like the romance better in this book than in The Bride Test. This book is about a woman named Stella who is not really experienced when it comes to her love life, so she hires a male escort to kind of teach her the ways of dating, loving, and you know, all that good stuff. This book was so cute. It was so sweet. Like, a lot of romance books you read for like the hate to love, chemistry, tension, goodness, and all that. And I eat that up, as you can see from this list. But again, like, sometimes you just want like a wholesome, cute love story. But this book also had a lot of tension, a lot of chemistry between the two characters. Don't get me wrong on that. Helen Huang delivered on that aspect too, but it also had like a sweetness to it too. The male love interest was perfect. He was so sweet and so kind and so forgiving and so understanding. Stella and Michael together were just, again, so cute and so sweet together. I know I'm gonna rate a romance a 5 stars when I literally can't stop thinking about it after I read it, and I can't wipe the smile off my face after I'm done because I was smiling so much from this book. Like, oh my gosh, loved it. Next on this list I have Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. Young adult contemporary is my kryptonite. This book made me feel the feels. It made me feel so many emotions. The main character in this book is a tad bit annoying and a tad bit can make some dumb decisions. I really loved him and I really was rooting for him through everything. This book is making me a trans 16-year-old boy, I believe, named Felix, and his love story and him finding acceptance in his dad and in who he is. Seeing Felix find the love that he 100% deserved made me so happy. Like, wow. Again, another book that made me cry. It kind of made me cry tears of joy and sadness at the same time. That's when you know you have talent as an author. I wanted him to fall in love and be happy so badly. And usually, like, main characters and I either love them or hate them, I feel like. And I really love this character so much. His story and him wanting to find happiness and acceptance and just like, again, another character I just wanted to give a hug to. It's just like, you deserve every ounce of love that you think you deserve. You deserve it and 100 times more. This book really warmed my heart. It really, again, got me. Kacen Callender did what he needed to do because this book made me feel some things. The last and final book I have in my favorite books of 2020 list is, to no surprise to I feel like anyone watching this video, because if you've read this book, you probably loved it as much as everyone else does, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Another book I talked about in a lot of videos, actually. This book was as stunning as everyone else says it is. This book gave me some real hate to love goodness. Hate to love is my favorite trope. Yes, see it from this video. There's like 4 books on this list that has a hate to love romance. Are we in any way, shape, or form surprised by that? No, we are not. I never get tired of Hate to Love. It doesn't take a lot for me to love a book with Hate to Love. This book takes place with a company that has recently merged. They used to be rival companies, but now they merged into one. And now these two people are fighting for the same position, and they hate each other. It's like an office romance with two people who hate each other. Again, the banter, the chemistry, the tension, the back and forth between these two. Absolutely loved it. There's such a cute scene in this book. It's the paintball scene. If you read this book, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to spoil it, but like, wow. Throughout this whole book, you're rooting for these two, and to finally realize that they don't hate each other, they love each other, and they're pretending to hate each other. And when it finally happens, it's just like, you're just so happy for them. These two together really brought the heat. Them together, you could really see how much passion they had with each other, and I loved every second of it. No one's surprised I love this book. No one's surprised that this is on my list. Let's close out this video now, you know? So that was my favorite books of 2020 list, the top 15 books that I absolutely loved last year. I hope everyone watching this video enjoyed it. If you did, you can give it a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more of these videos. And bye!